Where were you born?
Israel.
In Israel. And what was your local music scene like when you were growing up? What styles of music were popular in your hometown?
It wasn't like my hometown. It's just in general around where I was. I grew up on, the Beatles, really.
Mm-hmm.
So Beatles and Israeli rock and pop.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was already a bunch of jazz going on in Israel. And then my brother started to bring jazz records home. So I would say it was a mix of jazz, more like, jazz and popular music,
Mm.
Like Israeli music at the time, I don't know how to describe it. It was influenced by, some of it was influenced by, like English rock or American pop, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Would you say that the culture, like the going culture of the audience to the gigs in Israel was the same like in England and in New York? You're just like on Friday night you want to go and have a nice night out, you go to a gig?
I think so, yeah. It's pretty Europe. Although it's in the Middle East, it's pretty European.
What was your first guitar?
Well, my first guitar was a classical guitar that there's an Israeli artist. He was kind of famous for a minute there, and he was in the same high school with my brother in the same class, and his mom let my mom borrow a little, like a classical guitar.
Okay.
And then they bought me some piece of shit. I still have that guitar, classical guitar. I still have it when I go home. I have it. And it's got like the worst neck you can ever imagine. For a kid, every time I go home, I hold this thing. For a kid that's playing guitar to start to play on that thing, it was torturous. I don't know how I did it,
Did you attend any official classes or seek help from local mentors, and how often? So did you go to school of music?
Yeah, absolutely. I went to private teachers all the time.
Private teachers, oh, okay.
Yeah. In Israel, all my education was actually in Israel. When I moved here, I took like 1 or 2 lessons with Mike Stern, which wasn't even lessons. We're just playing. And I took 1 lesson with Pat Martino once. That's it.
Wow. And do you remember what concept you were interested in when you were talking to Pat Martino? When you took a lesson with him?
What was funny? I came to Pat, and with all those kind of questions and ideas, I want to talk to him about this and about that. And as soon as I got in, he started to get into his own thing. And that was it. I didn't even say a word. Hour and a half, it was just, going. It's actually kind of funny. It's kind of what I do when people come to me. In a way, it's the same thing.
Well, I'm sure the moment you start, you're actually answering questions that are not even asked. It's just, if there's a student, he's got plenty of questions, and the moment you start, you're already answering so many of them, maybe even at the same time, simultaneously, So,
I think a lot of times I can see right away if I play with somebody, if we just play a simple blues, I can see right away where they are, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you started playing, your guitar, what was your day like with your instrument? Now, I'm more interested in kind of a routine. Did you go to school in the morning and then you couldn't wait to get back home to play guitar and you spent the whole afternoon with that? Or were you like, once a week, let's play guitar?
Well, when I started playing guitar, I don't think I was that into it. I don't remember me being that into it. But then I think somehow my brother got a little pickup, the guitar, you know what I mean? And then my brother started to play bass, so we had an amp and a pickup, and I plugged it in, and I was like, all right, now we go.
That will do.
Yeah. So that got me going. But I would just come home from school and play a little bit. I think it started to get more serious. As I got a little older, I started at 10, so maybe when I was 12 or 13, I started to really practice more seriously. And I quit school when I was 15 or 16. So then I got completely all day practicing.
All day practicing. So do you remember when you were a student, like a very, very young, let's say even 12 or 13 years old, were you consciously practicing your melodic and harmonic and rhythmic elements at the very start? Like, let's say, right now I'm going to practice only rhythm. Right now I'm going to practice only my scales.
I went to teachers, so it was always, like practicing chord changes and then maybe some standards and the modes and scales and stuff. And then I also grew up in the 80s, so it was the whole guitar shredding thing. So I was really into that and, getting the videos and seeing technically how they do it,
Okay, who did you like at the time?
Paul Gilbert video, Hudson or Greg Howe, that was a highlight, So it was that thing. But then I went to another teacher too, but it was always like, like harmony and melody, it was basically studying jazz.
It was studying jazz, so, okay.
Yeah, there's really, I don't know of any other way to teach or to, that you can actually, what do you call it, like, develop, like, I don't know what rock teachers do, you know what I mean? Like if you go to a guitar player that's a rock guy, I don't know what they really teach, Once they show you the pentatonic and a blues scale, you know what I mean? The blues, 12-bar blues. So to me, it was always like through jazz,
I think that, yeah, very natural process. Jazz involves...
You're wrong, I just don't know anything else, you know what I mean? I never know how other people do it, so...
What do you think was the most important moment, or a person, or an event in your education?
I think I don't know if it has to do with education, but the most important moment for me was at around, maybe it was 84, 85, around that time. Well, I can tell you exactly when it was. Maybe 87 or something like that. The Pep Matini group came up with the record called Still Life Talking.
Still Life Talking, yeah.
So they were on a world tour and they came to play in Israel. So I went to see Pep Matini. I went to a clinic, went to see the show, the Pep Matini group show, and then the next day he was playing just like a small club, like a trio, like a jazz trio thing, And that's probably the profound experience. Like after that, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do,
Was it the reason why you decided to go to New York as a highlight and motivation?
That was the reason, but that was definitely the reason why I stopped going to school after that. I stopped. That was it. I think that was that was a very important, couple days in my life that changed everything.
So, were your main influences Pat Metheny?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I would think so. He's kind of my favorite of all times in a way.
So, from, let's say, all those instructional DVDs that you got from Paul Gilbert and Greg Hogue, is there any textbooks, instructional videos, including the ones that you're publishing, that you could recommend that everyone should have in their personal collection?
You're talking about videos, correct?
I'm talking about, instructional material. So it could be videos, it could be books, anything that really you say, this is the standard in New York.
Yeah, I'm not good with books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read books, and I'm not good. But the one book that I studied and had to get deep into was the Omnibook, the Charlie Parker Omnibook.
Okay.
So that's something that anybody that wants to study jazz has to have, the Omnibook. It's like the Bible of jazz, Other than that, instructional stuff, I don't really follow that stuff much, you know what I mean? I'm not like, I don't know, I don't have any, some of the stuff that I did is good, but it's kind of what I do. I can't, but there's a lot of other guitar players. I think any guitar player that you like, or musician that you like, you should get their instructional stuff. You get something out of it.
You get something out of it, absolutely.
So everybody that you like, you should get their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
McLaughlin released like this big think it was like 3 DVD thing. So I never watched it. I watched a little bit of it, but I got it. It's just like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, I think I have it. It's like 14 hours of. It's called, I think, The Way How I Do It.
Yeah. So it's those kind of things, you know. If you ever get someone that you like, just get all their stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. What or who does inspire you to learn more about music and innovate its elements? You know, what makes you get up and want you to play a guitar?
I think anybody that, you know, I try to go and see a lot of music.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime I see good music, it inspires me. But I can tell you the latest experience was Herbie Hancock was playing right outside New York, really close. And I was able to go to the sound check. And they played an hour straight in the sound check just because they wanted to, you know, it was the beginning of the tour, they were kind of rehearsing. That was really inspiring to me, you know? So stuff like that, I see Herbie, if I see Chick, if I see any of those guys, I can see young people and can inspire, you know? I don't have anybody specific that would do it, you know?
So the outside energy that comes to you from the others.
Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of crap on YouTube, but there is great, I discovered great stuff, like players and stuff like that through Facebook or Instagram and stuff. So that's, it's kind of good and bad because it's overwhelming. There's just too much information to digest, but it's also cool because it gives you ideas and, you know.
Well, when it comes to music language, how would you describe jazz music language, or the way how you perceive it, how you look at it? How do you look at the language of music?
It's the same as talking. It's a language. Like when you say jazz, then or let's say jazz or blues, for example, it's a language. It's like speaking French or I don't know, German. You know, you just have to learn the language. So it's kind of the same as learning any other language. You just have to know the language, and then after that, you can kind of develop your own. I don't know, like when you say you develop your own sound, you can develop your own slang, you know what I mean, or your own ideas about it. But it's basically like learning any other language, you know?
What improvising concepts do you like? You know, when you play, you just don't let it flow. You kind of decide, you know, let's play loud and soft, you know, or let's play long, short, or, you know, let's take only 3 courses and lay down.
No, I don't, none of that.
None of that.
No. There's no such thing as, improvising concepts, I don't think about that stuff at all. You know, when you practice or you're working on stuff, then you have concepts, you know what I mean? At least I do. But when you play, it's, you gotta play. You don't play concepts, you just play, you know what I mean? What's already in, you know? So I don't have, it doesn't happen when I actually improvise. It may happen when I practice.
When you practice, you choose particular things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your practicing routine like, you know, daily? So people can...
Unfortunately, I don't have one for the last couple of years. But I always plan on things to work on, but it never happens anymore. But I try to play as much as I can, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be aware of what I need to do, but I don't know. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, don't be.
But I'm working on it.
I like your playing a lot, so don't be frustrated. Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. It works, obviously.
Yeah, but you always have to get better.
Were there any life-changing collaborations with the musicians that you met or you played with, and it was like, oh, that was a new starting point of something very, very exciting that just, I don't know, skyrocketed your ambitions or your education or even career?
I can tell you the guys that I play with that like made things special for me. So in New York, for example, playing with Will Lee to kind of my whole thing to the next level. There was a long period where I played with Keith Carlock and Anton Fig, sometimes together, sometimes separately, but we did have a thing, all of us kind of together. So that was very influential at the time. I think another point was, well, anytime I play with Vinny Colaiuta, that's like a whole other. That's a real experience. You know what I mean? That's a very special thing. So that's. But I think the most recent one that is important to me is playing with Dave Weckl. Because once I start playing with Dave Weckl, it's almost like my music and the way my band sounded. It suddenly became like an actual, like he somehow the way he plays, he makes the most music out of my music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So playing with him was a pretty big thing for me. And playing with him and Will, we don't do it anymore, but it was a period when we used to play together, and it was the best band the best trio I've had. You know, for that period when I was playing that type of music.
What's the story behind the recordings Boogaloo and Who Gives a Funk and Twisted Blues 1 and 2?
So I'll start with Twisted Blues. Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
So the concept behind Twisted Blues Volume 1, Volume 2 was I wanted to just take blues forms and twist them and put them more into jazz context, you know what I mean? Which I did. That was kind of the idea, you know, like sound like, for example, something like whole tone blues, you know, it's like a shuffle, but it's based on a whole tone scale, you know? And I used the guys from Stevie Ray Vaughan's band, so I got the real blues guys, you know, kind of stuff. You know, and there's other things like that on that record. I can't really think. Like there's a couple of rumbas, you know, that are harmonically more kind of advanced. Actually, there's one tune that I don't know. It's actually on YouTube, and it never kind of got any attention. But to me, it was one of the greatest achievements of my life as a writer. I was able to write a blues in 6/4.
Yeah.
But it was it's like a 12-bar blues in 6/4. It's really weird. It was kind of based on a Stevie Wonder lick. It was in Twisted Blues Volume 2. It's called Come Baby, Let Your Love Come Down. So that's what I'm talking about, things like that. That was my concept for that record. And then after that, Who Gives a Funk, I wanted to make like more like kind of a R&B soul record, you know what I mean? Like very simple melodies, really catchy kind of, you know what I mean? It's really hard to write catchy stuff, you know, to write like very, you know, like, how do you call it? Like, hooky.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do there. And then the new record, Booga Loogaloo, it's basically it's like a Boogaloo record. It's Boogaloo mixed Bitches Brew. I don't know. You know, it's like, so it's a mix between Boogaloo and like electric 70s, kind of 60s miles. So when I have those concepts, I can write, you know what I mean? But I don't have those concepts, I usually don't, you know, I don't know what to do, I just don't do it.
How long is the whole process of composing? Let's say we're talking about Twisted Blues now. Let's say you came up with that idea, this is the concept. Do you come up with 3 or 4 songs and then you rehearse with the band, or do you come up with the whole repertoire and then you rehearse a band?
Because I play every week in New York at a club here, the Bitter End, then I start bringing tunes slowly, you know?
So it's fairly natural process. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes a while, like, it can take me a year or 2 sometimes, you know? Because I don't write everything at once, so I write, let's say I have 2 or 3 tunes, then I add one more, and before you know it, I have the whole record, but it takes a while.
And Twisted Blues 1 and 2, you came up with the second record, was it you came up with so many ideas and you wanted to publish them, or?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I had more to say than one record, you know what I mean? I had more ideas for more tunes, you know? Actually, I'll tell you a little secret. The Boogaloo record that I'm doing, the Booga Loogaloo, I'm not going to call it Volume 1 and Volume 2, but it is Volume 1 and Volume 2. This record that's coming out now, it's actually the first record out of 2.
Out of 2, okay, that's your concept.
The second record is already like 70% recorded. Because when I recorded, there was too many tunes and it was too long, so we split it to 2 records.
And will you do it in Sweetwater?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so this record's coming out now, and the next one is going to come out next year. I still have to record a few more tunes, but just like 2-3 more. It's all everything else already recorded.
How many tunes usually aim for to put on a record?
It changed. It used to be that you want to put 10 tunes or something, but now, because of how things are, it's more about the amount of the time.
The timing, yeah.
Anytime over 40 minutes is fine, So I would say between 40 and 50 is cool.
40 and 50 is cool.
Yeah. But that changed. So this record I have 8 tunes.
8 tunes. Okay, very good. So the next part, music education. So what characteristics do you think define a good musician?
I think humble is really important. Being humble.
Mm-hmm.
Not having an ego it's not possible. Everybody's got egos, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can control your ego, it helps. And I guess dedication,
Dedication.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hard, you have to be dedicated, you have to work hard. That's actually a part of the talent, you know what I mean? Is to be able to work hard and be focused on it.
Mm-hmm. When you meet guitar players, guitar students, and professional, guitar players, what do you think are like the categories of your instrumental skills that you go, have you learned this? Checked. Have you learned that? Checked.
Oh, obviously scales is the first thing.
Okay.
And because it's guitar, so you have to know your fretboard, the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to play scales all over the neck. That's the first thing. And then chords, basic chords, I would say. And then you have to know harmony and melody, meaning you have to know what scales will fit what chords,
Okay, yeah, like the chord scale relationship. Okay.
Yeah. And then the last thing that is the most important thing to me is voice leading.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of not as popular with guitar players, at least in the beginning, because it's harder to do than on piano. But that's an important thing.
When you meet younger musicians, the less experienced, what do you think are the common mistakes and false assumptions they make about being a musician?
Good question, hard to answer. The music business as a business, it's nothing like it was 20 years ago, or it's nothing. It's kind of completely changed. So
that's writing. Yeah, keep on talking. That's one. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not much out there like there used to be. There's a lot less work. There's a lot less of everything. There's a lot less money. There's a lot, you know what I mean? So that's a big deal. And that's a big problem with young people that come to New York that don't want to be musicians. Now, having said that, if you want to work as a musician, you'll find a way to do it. You know what I mean? But you have to find different ways of doing it. Like this, being a studio musician in New York, that barely exists anymore. Playing small gigs in New York, you can do that, but it's very little money, So and New York is a very expensive place. So, you have to find, maybe you kind of gotta know how to do a lot of things, produce, like play this, play that, like you have to kind of have a lot of tricks in your head to just be able to survive, And touring is a whole other thing because you don't really understand what it is to actually do it. You know what I mean? Like you see people play on those big stages, it's like, oh man, that's so cool, but you may not realize that they sat in a van for 10 hours driving to the gig, The night before, they sat in the same van again for 8 hours and drove to a gig. You know what I mean? It's like all the background of how it works, you don't understand it, you don't know it till you're actually in it. And some of it is extremely unpleasant, So you have to really like what you do in order to do it. Yeah. That's pretty much, I think that's a big part of what people don't understand,
Let's say if you were auditioning musicians into your band, but you're picking your musicians because you already know so many musicians around. What is it that you're looking for in bass players playing, and in drummers playing, and the keyboardist playing?
Good question. I think let me start from the end. I think because I see it around a lot now. I think a lot of people now, because of YouTube, they go for it's always been like that, where people go for the flashy stuff first instead of the depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now with YouTube and stuff, you're exposed to so much stuff, like so much hip stuff, that I hear a lot of players that can play all this like super hip shit, but if you ask them to just play a basic groove, it's going to be pretty weak. You know what I mean? So that's the main key is, again, it kind of goes back to learning you have to learn the roots and where things come from, and then you can have a real depth. I don't know anybody that, if you start at 10 and you don't have, like if you start, if you don't have 1, 2, 3, 4 and you start at 5, I don't know anybody that actually sounds good, you know what I mean? So that's like the thing that I think is missing. I don't know if it's missing, that's what I notice with young musicians, they kind of go to like the hip guys instead of going like, oh, but where is that came from? Maybe I should go back and learn Elvin. I learned like I don't know, Philly Joe Jones and Elvin Jones before I learned Mark Juliana.
Of course, yeah.
Antonio Sanchez. You know what I mean? And those guys will say exactly the same thing. So that's something that I've seen around. Same thing with bass players. Somebody who want to play like Tim LaFave or like, I don't know who else, so like Adrian Farrar, people that's really before they fucking do their homework, they play James Jamerson and just know how to hold the groove, At the end of the day, that's what's gonna get you to work. It's not the fancy stuff, it's to actually be able to play really good, like you call them like the meat and potatoes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, meat and potatoes. That's a very good analogy.
Yeah, so I see that a lot with young players, Like they have all this flashy stuff, but they don't really have a groove, or depth to the groove, or actually depth to the flashy stuff either.
How well do you cope with stressful elements such as, like a peer pressure, competition, and fear of being, good enough and living up to your own expectations?
Very badly.
Very badly. Well, do you have any tricks how to treat it, how to walk it off, how to, take a hot shower and survive this all?
Just take a Valium and go to sleep. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that because, everywhere you live, you're going to have stress and competition. And because music, when you're a musician, nothing is ever
permanent.
The same, permanent anywhere. It doesn't matter what you do, but maybe with music it's a little more loose, you know what I mean? So you have to be more kind of zen, you know what I mean? Or just hope for things to happen, and So I don't know. I don't have a question for that. I have an answer for that. I don't know. When I'll figure it out, I'll call you.
Yes, please. I remember. Do you do yoga? I think you remember that you had like a yoga classes or something. So do you try to?
It helps that aspect, but I don't do it for that reason. I do it more for physical reasons,
Exactly. I think that leads to my next question, and that is, if you ever had any physical injury, or if you didn't, how to prevent it, from happening.
I never had physical injuries from playing.
Yeah.
But what happens, and pretty much I think a lot of musicians can tell you the same thing. What happens is if you start doing, like let's say you tour and you do like extensive playing, you know what I mean? Then there's just, because of the way instruments are, like the way you hold an instrument, the way it's physical, even if it's not, you don't use muscles like you lift weights, it's still physical. And you stand on stage and play for an hour and a half in a weird position, then your back will get messed messed up. Your neck will get messed up. Your muscles get stiff. You know, so when you do that stuff for a long period of time, you know, like you do a month tour and you play every night, almost every night, you'll feel it pretty quick on your body, you know. So you gotta just be aware of that. It's more than anything, you know. Posture is really important.
Posture.
Yeah, and also being relaxed when you're playing. That helps a lot. But it's still, I've never found, like if I do a tour when I have to play a lot, I usually would feel it pretty quick on my body, you know. You know, you take hot baths, you do whatever you do. You know, yoga is great because you do all this stretches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that applies to all except if you're playing harmonica, it applies to every instrument. Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about your gear. So I think you're well known for playing your Strats and also Tellys, but I'm sure that you've got your Les Pauls also.
Yeah.
So and there's also exotic instrument that you've got, like it's your signature model, is it, by Exotic?
It's not signature, it's just a guitar they gave me.
There's a guitar that you gave me. Okay. Now, what's the story behind your Strat? How did you get your Strat? Did you buy it in New York?
I have 3 of them now. 2 of them I got through the custom shop and Fender custom shop. I just ordered something that I thought will work for me, and they made it and it was good. After that, I ordered other stuff that was not good. So it's a crapshoot. Recently, I got a guitar. I was next to Sam Ash. I went in. There was a really good one there. So I always look for those custom shops because sometimes you can find good ones. You have to go through like 100 to find one good one.
Okay.
But you can find them. It's just you have to look and be lucky with it.
Your amplifier. What amplifier do you use?
I use two rock amplifier.
How do you set up your mids, trebles, and bass on that? I mean, you know, just for the sake of what is it that you're looking for in the sound? You know, kind of depth or sweetness or trebleness. You know, what is it that you're looking?
It just has to be balanced. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be not too boomy, not too high endy. You know. And usually when I play an amp, I start in the middle, everything in the middle. Then I see what I need to
adjust.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
On your guitar, what strings do you have on your guitar?
11s.
11s, all right. And what plectrum do you have?
It's like it's a Dunlop.
It's a Dunlop Tortex 1.6, is it?
Yeah. No, it's the 2 millimeters.
2 millimeters. Okay. Okay. What software do you like using on a computer for music writing or writing out music and score? Pro Tools. And for writing out charts?
I write by hand.
You write it in hand. Okay.
Yeah, I never got into I have Sibelius, but I never learned how to use it. And I never got into it.
No, when you travel with your instrument, do you usually travel with a soft case or with a hard case?
If I have to do a bunch of flights, then I'll do hard case. If I have to do one flight and I know it's cool, then I'll do soft case.
Soft case. And you never travel with an amplifier. You would rent the amplifier from the space.
Yeah.
Okay. And what amplifier do you usually ask for?
I ask for either AC30s or Blues DeVille's.
Blues DeVille's, okay.
DeVille's or AC30s.
What should every working artist try to avoid and refrain from doing? It's like a little business advice. What is like never ever this?
You know Steve Ferroni, the drummer Steve Ferroni?
There you go, yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine. And he once was interviewed for like a big modern drummer magazine thing, you know. And they asked him, what is your suggestion for the next generation? And his answer I thought was really funny and really to the point. Was like, pee before you go on stage and never get married. I think the first one is very true. The second one is kind of to your choice. You know? Those little things, you know.
Thank you all so much, you know, and have a lovely day.
All right, you too. Cool, man.
See you. Bye.